Perhaps you've heard the phrase, all children were created equally and differently. And maybe you felt the second half of that, different. When your teacher was in the front of the classroom, did you struggle to pay attention as she stood there in her monotone voice, no visual aids, no hands-on experiences? Well, it seemed maybe like the rest of the students in your class could. VARK is an acronym recognized by a parent company created by MIT and Harvard, and it stands for Visual, Audio, Read and Write, and Kinesthetic. And it refers to different individualized learning styles. Today, I want to talk about how American Sign Language being incorporated into school curriculums is beneficial for deaf and hard of hearing students, students with learning, cognitive, or speech delays, and the majority of the population made up of typical peers as well. We're going to consider how American Sign Language is beneficial for all three of these groups and hits the mark of a variety of learning styles. Incorporating ASL into schools, the curriculum is beneficial for the deaf and hard of hearing because 85% of deaf children are mainstreamed to schools that have no support for deaf or little support. And this is a statistic from the Commission of the Deaf. This creates a language barrier where they miss out on vital instruction and socialization of their peers. More than 500,000 people in America use American Sign Language as their first language. Incorporating this into the curriculum can help students socially not to miss out on instruction and also to be able to socialize with their peers. Incorporating ASL is also beneficial for those with cognitive learning or speech delays. Though a child might not verbally display what they learn, they may display it in other ways. I remember my preschool class was learning about penguins, and the sign for penguins, you put your hands on your side and you waddle like a penguin. And many of the children had fun learning this, and it helped them to be able to include themselves in the lesson and participate with the rest of the class because this was something they were able to do, even if they couldn't say or pronounce penguin. The first sign of communication begins in early childhood, even as small as infancy, when children begin to point and gesture at things. Movement is one of the earliest ways of communication, and it's how children begin to naturally initial interaction and communication. Now that we've considered how it helps deaf and hard of hearing and those with speech delays, what about the majority of the population that are considered typical peers, those that don't have speech delays or disabilities? According to childhood psychologists Simpson and Lynch, American Sign Language supports early brain development in areas of attention, bonding, communication, and visual learning. Applying gestures to language, as ASL does, makes it tangible and more impressionable, helping children to retain information better. As we've shown how sign language is beneficial for all students of all capabilities, teachers have the responsibility to be intentional in their language and communication. If the class is discussing the letter P, we might emphasize the P in every word that we say that day that has the letter P in it to really lock that information in. And using sign language is a way that we can do this in teaching the gestures to children in a way that they can also mimic back, even if they can't say P, even if they can't hear how it sounds. This gives all students of diverse backgrounds and abilities the capability to participate and learn. Being intentional in the way that educators teach makes all the difference in the education that the children receive. An intentional teacher will pay attention to choosing language and vocabulary and using American Sign Language can bridge the gap between students of all learning styles and capabilities. And we should utilize it to reach deaf, hard of hearing, delayed, and the rest of their students. As a developmental preschool aide, I've witnessed how American Sign Language can empower students with the ability to express themselves when they cannot find the words. This language is beautiful, and it's not only for the deaf community, but also for those who struggle with speech and children who have a hard time retaining information. It makes language tangible and can change the way that educators reach their students. Thank you.